Live from KSAT 12. The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
We begin tonight with the latest on the crisis in Ukraine. The country now under attack by Russia by land and air. According to the Ukraine's health minister, 57 people have been killed since the attacks began.
And today, President Joe Biden announcing severe sanctions against Russia, calling these attacks unprovoked and unjustified. The Russian military launching more than 100 missiles into Ukraine last night. 150,000 Russian soldiers are also advancing into Ukraine. The sanctions that President Biden announced today target Russia's military and financial institutions.
We've now sanctioned Russian banks that together hold around $1 trillion in assets. We've cut off Russia's largest bank, a bank that holds more than 1/3 of Russia's banking assets by itself, cut it off from the U.S. financial system.
President Biden also saying at his conference he has no plans to speak with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The president also believes Putin wants to go beyond Ukraine. He doesn't want to stop there. The president says if he moves into NATO countries, the U.S. will be involved.
And now back here at home tonight, there are Ukrainian families living right here in San Antonio, and they are now fearing for their loved ones back home.
They met on the steps of San Fernando Cathedral today to speak out on the Russian invasion. RJ Marquez tells us more about these families fearing for their people from thousands of miles away.
Ukrainian families gathered today in downtown San Antonio, praying and pleading for peace in their home country.
Nobody in Ukraine wants war. Nobody wants to see their sons and brothers and dads die.
Anna Stumps was born and raised in Ukraine before moving here. She's getting updates from loved ones, but feels helpless.
You absolutely cannot do anything, just to speak up and show the support and love that we're praying. We're here far away, but we are praying.
Irene Van Winkle has lived through this before. She says despite Ukraine becoming a free country in 1991, her people have always feared this would happen again.
We never can seem to get from underneath Russia's dominance. They can't stand the fact that we are, got our independence, that we have a government.
Many of these families are part of Ukrainian San Antonio, a nonprofit that promotes the country's culture. They are worried that culture could be wiped out as Russian forces advance.
This reminds me of Soviet Union. This reminds me of the repression the Soviets did when they established their power.
Olena Krustyuek is one of the nonprofit's founding members. She says families here are leaning on each other for support, but worried about never seeing loved ones again.
My cousin called me and he said, my daughter is screaming, Daddy, I don't want to die. No parent should ever have to experience that.
RJ Marquez, KSAT 12 News.
We're going to continue our coverage of what is happening in Ukraine tonight. But first, we have some breaking news that we want to get to. The San Antonio Fire Department currently responding to a structure fire on Perrin Vital and Post Office Drive. This is a live look at the scene. We are told 36 units are responding to this right now.
Yeah, fire officials tell us the post office isn't the building that's on fire right now. You remember the main post office is there. They say it's a structure that's near the post office. This is as close to the actual fire as we could get. We're going to be sure to update you once more information is available. Now back to the situation in Ukraine and how it will affect us. The conflict between those two countries brings a lot of uncertainty about how the U.S. will be involved in the future. We spoke to an international relations expert on GMSA at 9 this morning. She believes this is the start of a new Cold War. She also says future military involvement from the U.S. depends on the intentions of Vladimir Putin.
The hope would be that some diplomatic efforts could just prevent a further escalation of the war. The problem that we are facing is that we don't really know what are the real intentions of Putin, whether he will stop at Ukraine or he can challenge Europe, peaceful setting post-World War II for the first time after World War II.
You can watch the full interview with Dr. Aloisi right now on KSAT.com.
The week before the Russian invasion, a San Antonio couple left Ukraine with their newly adopted special needs son. He is now in intensive care at University Hospital. 4-year-old Ruslan was born with cerebral palsy and he is malnourished. He'd been in an orphanage in Ukraine after his mother abandoned her special needs baby. His adoptive parents, Theron and Kelsey Jaggi, say that although they barely got out of the country with their new son, They're now worried about other special needs children like Ruslan who are still awaiting their adoption.
So a lot of these children are sentenced to die in an institution if they're not adopted by an American family.
The Jaggies will be live tomorrow on GMSA at 9, talking about their harrowing experience, how their faith inspired them, and the miracles they say it took to bring Ruslan to America.
It's quite the story. Many of you seeing or reading about Russia's attacks on Ukraine may be wondering how to help the people there. Well, there are a number of different charities and organizations dedicated to helping the people of Ukraine. We have those links listed for you right now on our website, KSAT.com. You can go right there. As always, before you donate to any charity, though, be sure to check with the nonprofit watchdog group to make sure it's legitimate.
And now to other local stories we are following this evening. Police investigating a shooting on the city's southeast side, and they say that one man involved refuses to cooperate. This happening at the Villas at Pecan Manor on Pecan Valley, just west of I-37. Police say the man may have been shot in the neck and grazed by a bullet. He was taken to Brooke Army Medical Center in stable condition. He is telling police that he had no idea what happened or who shot him.
We now know the name of a man who was shot and killed on the city's southeast side last week. Medical examiners say he is 43-year-old Ace Shanka. Shanka shot multiple times last week on the 15th of February at an apartment complex on Bowmore Road. Officers found him laying in a parking lot. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The shooter fled the scene, has not been found. A motive for the shooting remains under investigation.
The Converse Police Department asking for your help after a series of storage units were broken into. Officers say that 3 men in a silver BMW broke in on February 9th, just before 5 in the morning. This theft happened at the Rocket Storage Units at 8678 along FM 78. Surveillance images catching them breaking into those units, but their faces could not be seen. This is the car. The property owner is offering a $1,000 reward. Anyone with information is asked to contact Detective Kay Clary at 210-988-1539.
She is grieving. She lost her daughter during a San Antonio SWAT situation. Now she wants custody of her grandchildren. The daughter accidentally shot and killed by San Antonio police last year during a standoff with that daughter's common-law husband. As Erica Hernandez tells us, that common-law husband that put her daughter in danger is who the grandmother is fighting for custody of the kids.
Since the death of her daughter last summer, Maria Tijerina has been taking care of her daughter's 4 children. She is now facing a new challenge as she is fighting for custody of her youngest grandson.
I want my
grandkids with me because it's where they deserve to be. I don't want them anywhere else with other people they shouldn't be with.
Angel Sanchez was charged with murder in connection with causing the death of Neida Tijerina and 3 counts of aggravated assault of a peace officer. Sanchez, who is currently behind bars in Bexar County, is now attempting to gain rights over his child.
We have a situation where dad is incarcerated and has been incarcerated since the incident has occurred. And he is also asking to have primary conservatorship or joint managing conservatorship with his sister.
If a judge rules in favor of Sanchez, he and his sister would have joint custody of the child, and the child will then be in the care of his sister while he's in jail.
The thoughts as to why they do it are not altruistic, and they're not in the best interest of the child.
What's the possibility a judge rules in favor of Sanchez?
Is it possible that he gets conservatorship? Probably not. Is it possible that he gets to see this child sometime in the future? That's possible.
A ruling in this custody battle could soon happen. A hearing is scheduled for March 4th in this case. In the meantime, Maria is trying to remain positive.
My grandkids are my entire life. My entire life. I love them, and I just want what's best for them.
Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
We've reached out to Sanchez's attorney about this case, but have yet to hear back.
Let's take a look at traffic out there right now. This is the TransGuide camera, 281 at Hildebrand, looking north, and really looks like smooth sailing north and southbound in the main lanes. Also light traffic on the on and off ramps there.
And we are very happy we're not seeing the precipitation that we saw that could have potentially made things a little slicker out there than they already are.
Yeah, and the precipitation, it was that nuisance type. Doesn't add up to anything, doesn't help us out. And we're going to have more of that over the next couple of days. 30 earlier this morning, then a high of only 41 degrees. Not a big temperature spread and well below the averages of 47 and 69. Most of the state feeling the chill today. A high of 30 in Abilene and Dallas as well. Austin only got up to 35 for the high temperature. Along the Rio Grande, we had some sunshine. So Del Rio 58. Earlier today in Carrizo Springs 52. Those were the exceptions. We're falling through the 30s tonight, settling near freezing tomorrow morning. If you're anxious for the warmer weather and a return to sunshine, need a little bit of patience, but we'll talk about when that will be back in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Adam. The Grand Hyatt Hotel could be changing hands in a $450 million deal.
Yeah, you see, the private hotel was built on city-owned property right next to the city-owned convention center. But the pandemic left the city footing some of the Hyatt's debt payments.
Well, now it is considering a deal that would get it clear from that obligation and ultimately transfer the hotel over to the city as well. A lot of moving parts in this story. City Hall reporter Garrett Berger with that story.
To city officials, it's a win-win.
From a financial standpoint and a control standpoint, I think the city's in a much better position.
Born out of the city's desire to attract big events and conventions, the 1,003-room Grand Hyatt San Antonio Riverwalk opened up in 2008. A private hotel on leased city land. To help with financing the project, the city had even pledged tax dollars to make bond payments in case the hotel's revenue couldn't cover them, which when the pandemic hit is what happened.
The city stepped in to take and make a little over $10 million in hotel debt payments.
On top of that, the city hasn't ever been able to collect the rent it's owed for the land lease. But a new proposal could change that. Hyatt, which owns and operates the hotel, wants to sell the hotel building but continue to run the hotel business inside of it. Through this proposed deal, the city would be paid more than $15 million to cover the back rent it's owed and the debt payments it made instead of Hyatt, and it would be freed up from covering any future payments. Plus, the new owner, a nonprofit out of Arizona, would eventually hand the hotel over to the city.
The key there is it's scheduled to be paid off over 40 years. The transfer would not happen until those bonds are fully paid back.
The city says Hyatt actually approached them before the pandemic about selling the hotel, but things got put on pause. Hyatt's area VP said in an emailed statement the proposed deal is part of an asset sales strategy. This is all mainly a private deal, but the city council needs to sign off before it can go ahead. If they do, in votes scheduled for next Thursday, the deal could close in April. Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
Coming up here at 6 o'clock, we are introducing you to the athletes that keep bull riders safe at the rodeo. Get a behind-the-scenes look at being a professional bullfighter. Next.
I'm Stefania Jimenez, and here's what we're working on for you tonight on the Night Beat as we watch that crisis unfold in the Ukraine. U.S. leaders also worry about cybersecurity right here at home. But the U.S. is preparing, and the University of San Antonio is helping. We're going to sit down with the head of the National Security Collaboration Center at the university to find out how. Plus, we're going to discuss what you should do to protect your data. And first it was flames, then it was demolition crews. A building constructed in the late 1800s no longer stands in downtown San Antonio. The devastation happening right before it could be designated as a historical landmark. And tonight, we take a look at the history of that complex. We'll see you for these stories and so much more tonight on The Night Beat.
It is the event that gets the crowd on their feet, sometimes the edge of their seats. We are talking about bull riding.
Yeah, and it's not just about the 8-second ride. The adrenaline continues when the bullfighters call attention to themselves to try to protect the rider.
Yeah, Alicia Barrera visited the AT&T Center ahead of the rodeo semifinals to meet two of the athletes that fight these bulls at the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo.
we welcome two of the very best cowboy lifesavers in the world.
It takes guts.
You know, whenever we first started out, it was like riding a roller coaster, you know.
Skills and focus are required.
If you don't love this, it's not worth it.
But they say the pain
So I ended up breaking some bones in my neck.
is worth it for the job.
And I am a professional bullfighter.
Chuck Swisher and Cody Webster are the official San Antonio Rodeo PRCA bullfighters.
We get to wake up, we get to come in and fight bulls, do what we love.
This is the very best stock in the world, the very best cowboys in the business. So to be able to have your name stapled to something like this really almost solidifies that you're legit enough to be able to go on down the road and go to finals.
Inspired by their own families, these bullfighters got their start at a very young age.
From the time I was a little bitty baby, you know, I was running through the house and trying to paint my face with mom's lipstick and wearing baggy clothes. And
about 14 and a half, 15 years old, I was like, I'm going to be a cowboy like my dad. And they took me to a bullfighting school when I was 15, and here I am now, 16 years later.
Now, they're sponsored athletes traveling the nation's rodeos to protect the bull riders.
Stepping into the arena here at San Antonio, you know, and getting to be in front of 16,000 people just about every night, it's really something that's hard to put in words.
It's definitely no 9 to 5, but again tonight, these cowboys will have a chance to collect their checks as they step foot onto the dirt for the rodeo semifinals.
It's just wheeling our chair up to the office desk and going to work.
Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
All right, the bull riders can have an off night. The bullfighters cannot.
No, they cannot
have an off night.
No, that's when you go,
yeah.
Anytime there.
They're the heroes in this whole thing.
For sure.
All right, let's switch to the weather right now. We saw that Alicia was bundled up there.
Yep.
Ready for the elements.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Wearing her cowboy finery.
And you're going to need it again for a few more days because it's not going to be until Sunday and especially Monday till you really notice the bigger temperature jump. Let's take a look at the readings outside at the moment. We still have a mixture of 30s and 40s. 36 Helotes. Randolph measuring 37 along with New Braunfels. Canyon Lake 36. Meanwhile, Divine 43 along with Stinson. Temperature is farther to the west where we had some sunshine, a bit warmer. Del Rio 57, 52 Carrizo Springs, and even Uvalde 49 degrees. That's where we had some sunshine in turn. Well, temperatures got boosted into the 40s and 50s, but that sunshine is going to be short-lived. The clouds increase again really quickly tomorrow, at first thing in the morning after sunrise. But this is what we're expecting. Overnight tonight, just a gradual drop through the 30s, settling right near freezing for most of us tomorrow morning, especially along and north of Highway 90. At or slightly below freezing. So New Braunfels about 31 in the morning, along with Hondo and Uvalde. Into the hill country, Kerrville 26, Fredericksburg 24. Here in San Antonio, I think a brief light freeze first thing in the morning. Then we just do this all over again into the afternoon. Cloudy, cool, right near 40 for a high temperature again on your Friday. Saturday, not much better, about 42 degrees, a little bit of dampness. We'll get into that in a moment. By Sunday, we're well into the 50s, so still well below the average high of 69, but you'll definitely notice the change. It's going to feel a lot more comfortable than what we've had lately. And then next week, back to near 70 degrees by Monday. And that's going to be accompanied by a lot of sunshine on Monday as well. You look at February overall, and we're about 4 degrees below average for the month, temperature-wise. Coldest we had was 21 degrees on the 4th, the warmest 85 on the 21st and 22nd. And we are predicting to end the month with the remaining days below average. So February is going to go down in the books pretty far below average temperature-wise. And of course, rain, we haven't had a whole lot of it either. And we're not expecting a whole lot more. It's quiet out there right now. The clouds have been clearing off to the west, but they'll fill back in tomorrow. And I do think we'll get into some sprinkle activity for the second half of the day tomorrow. The clouds will be thickening. You'll notice them getting lower in the sky by the afternoon and evening. We'll have some hit or miss sprinkles. We're calling it about 30% coverage at any given time. And then that's going to be Friday night on into Saturday. Saturday, probably even more additional sprinkles and very light showers. So some dampness starting late tomorrow and especially into Saturday. But it's not going to add up to much. I mean, maybe 1/10 of an inch here and there. So nothing that's going to put a dent in our drought or really help out the aquifer at all. 32 in the morning, then only 40 in the afternoon. Those lower clouds later in the day giving us a few sprinkles, a north wind at 10 to 15. We get into Saturday. There's that dampness, some scattered sprinkles, off and on very light showers. But in the morning on Saturday, we have to watch out for some of those elevated surfaces in the hill country where we could have some freezing drizzle. Then Sunday, I still think we'll see the sun. It's just not going to be until later in the afternoon. Then next week, there's the payoff for us. Sunny, right near 70 degrees.
That will be lovely. Thanks, Adam.
All right. Larry Ramirez joins us now. And Larry, correct me if I'm wrong, and I know you will.
Nah.
If the Spurs make the playoffs, like I believe they were 10th last year, right?
Yes.
They could equal that this year easily.
They could. I mean, they are, 2 games out, I think, of the 10th and final spot to get into the play-in tournament. So there's a chance, yes, that the Spurs can make the playoffs with just 23 games to go in the regular season. It's the final push for the Spurs, and they're going to have to do it with a handful of new teammates. Plus, in boys high school basketball, John Paul II is looking for some payback in the next round. Coming up. Recharge from the NBA All-Star break. The Spurs will resume the rodeo road trip tomorrow night with 2 goals, qualify for the playoffs, and in the process pick up 3 more wins for head coach Greg Popovich, who's 3 victories away from passing Don Nelson for #1 all-time in regular season coaching victories. Pop currently sits at 1,333. More importantly, though, the Spurs are knocking on the door of 10th place in the Western Conference, which would qualify them for the play-in tournament. Lonnie was asked if the team has gelled enough, even with the recent additions and subtractions made at the trade deadline.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as a brotherhood, we're getting closer and closer as time proceeds. And adding, someone like Josh Richardson and Romeo and Sato, I mean, they're great guys. So it's only going to make the transition 10 times easier having players like that who are already, fit the Spurs characteristics and personalities and whatnot. So I'm excited. We got these 23 games. We're going to leave it all out there, and we'll see what happens.
Spurs' final push starts tomorrow night at 6 at the Wizards. In boys high school basketball, Church John Paul II opened the playoffs with a convincing 79-22 win against Pasadena First Baptist in the TAPS 4A regional semifinals. Point guard Desmond Dudley scored 25 points. Matt Cuellar had 12 points, and both Kyle Purchase and Nick Fontaine finished with 10 points each. Peyton Reimer added 8. Now the Guardians will face Houston St. Thomas Episcopal, who knocked them out of the playoffs last season in the second round 79-57. It's payback time for JP2, and they are feeling confident.
It's just a huge game because last year they sent us home and cut our aspirations short, so they left that sour taste in our mouth. So it just means that much more to get another chance at them. And also, they're the last team standing in front of us from entering the state tournament.
One thing that makes it a big game is they're who we lost to last year, which was not what we had hoped to do last year. So we kind of want to come back and get revenge on them for that.
I'm just super confident in them in these type of games. Our senior leadership, our experience, we lean on it heavily. They've been here before. They act like they've been here before. And, they treat every situation as we're supposed to be here. This regional game, we're supposed to be here. We knew we would be here.
John Paul II and St. Thomas Episcopal will play Saturday, 1 p.m. at LaGrange. JP2 is ranked 5th in the state in TAPS 4A, and St. Thomas Episcopal is 6th per the Texas Association of Basketball Coaches. San Antonio's world champ Jesse Bam Rodriguez is already training after winning the WBC Super Flyweight World title earlier this month. He moved up 2 weight classes with less than a week's notice to the main event on DAZN. That's after one of the fighters had to withdraw due to an illness. Bam would score a knockdown and win by unanimous decision. So what was it like to hear and still undefeated as he was named the new world champ?
If I could describe that feeling, I would, but I mean, it's really unexplainable the way I felt when they said and still undefeated and they said my name. It was just, my body went numb, honestly, and that's why I felt, because it was just an amazing feeling and I can't describe it, but if it was one word, it would be amazing.
You can watch much more with San Antonio's newest world champ this Sunday night on Instant Replay. Look at that belt.
I love boxer nicknames.
Yes.
Bam.
Bam's a great one.
Yeah. My favorite of all time, Thomas the Hitman Hearns.
Hitman Hearns, always a good one.
My favorite one. Yeah. But Larry and I could go on. Myra, what's your... No.
Our business.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Our KSAT Q&A is coming up next.
The Center for Disease Control is supposed to give new guidance when it comes to masking tomorrow. Tonight, as she always does, we are joined by Dr. Ruth Bergeron from the Long School of Medicine at UT Health San Antonio, an infectious disease specialist. Thank you so much for being with us, Dr. Bergeron. And right off the top, I want to talk about that guidance. It's expected that they're going to allow people to not wear masks in some indoor settings. Is that kind of what you're hearing as well?
Yes, indeed, but that hasn't translated yet to my workplace. And of course, I work in a hospital and a clinical setting, so healthcare workers are going to continue to be masking. But overall, if we look at what's happening in San Antonio, we are now down to less than a 10% community positivity rate. And the case rate per 100,000 has dropped significantly from where it's been to 23 per 100,000. So we are certainly in a zone where we don't have high community transmission evidence. So I think this will be welcome news for a lot of people. I will caution you that wearing a mask is a good idea. I'm still seeing cases of people that are being diagnosed by home COVID tests, and they're fortunately able to get treatment from their primary care doctors with antiviral medications. So we're not even seeing them in the hospital. So it's not like it's gone. But the rates of community positivity and overall case rate is way down.
Before we move on from masks, I want to ask you, I heard somebody on the radio today talking about how they think moving forward, masks will be sort of like raincoats. Like when there's surges, we'll put on the masks. When there's not, we can put them away in the closet. I mean, is that kind of how you're seeing it as we move forward here?
I certainly think that people should be aware of their community positivity and their case rates in thinking about that. And also to be thoughtful about whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated if you're deciding to take your mask off and go into a crowded indoor place. Unvaccinated people, beware.
And speaking of vaccines, some new guidance on the timing between your first dose and second dose of the mRNA vaccine. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so it used to be that it was 21 or 28 days after between your first and second Pfizer or Mrna dose. And now it looks like waiting longer, waiting 8 weeks before your second dose is a better schedule because it seems to create more robust and more lasting immunity. So as we continue to do throughout this pandemic, we're learning. And these guidelines change not because people are crazy or they can't make up their minds. These kinds of guidelines change because we scrutinize the data that we're collecting. And as we look at that data, we learn how to do things better.
We continue to learn. When we talk about the vaccine, a lot of people are already wondering about the fourth shot. If they should get it, who should get it, when they should get it, those kind of things.
At this moment, the only people recommended for that fourth shot are really immunocompromised folks. And that means people that have had solid organ or bone marrow transplants, people that are actively undergoing chemotherapy, people who have advanced AIDS. Those kinds of people are advised to get a 3-shot first series and then a booster. So those people would get a total of 4 shots. Whether the rest of us who don't have those issues are going to need another shot is still to be determined. I anticipate it is in our futures, but I'm not recommending outside of guidelines that people go and get a 4th shot just because it's been 5 or 6 months since they had their 3rd shot. We need to wait. It may be that the next shot that's recommended will have a different composition, that it will be modified to be targeted towards the variants that are circulating.
You know, we spent a lot of time at one point talking about monoclonal antibody infusions. We learned that sotrovimab was less effective with this Omicron variant. We're seeing more variants of Omicron. So is that still the case? Is that still not being used as much?
Yes, so we actually are continuing to give sotrovimab in our community. The subvariant of Omicron called the BA2 is not something that we're seeing here. And so we're pretty confident that it's not greater than 80%. There is a guideline out there that says that if your community has more than 80% of the BA2 Omicron subvariant in circulation, that in that case, it's not worth giving the sotrovimab, and people should be directed to other kinds of therapy, such as the antiviral Paxlovid, which has an 87% reduction in the need for hospitalization or serious progression of illness.
You rounded in the hospital earlier today. Can you talk about what you are seeing there or what your colleagues are seeing in terms of patients who are hospitalized with COVID right now?
Right. So I'm on a general infectious disease service. And so people are coming in for all different sorts of infections, from diabetic feet to bloodstream infections with Staph aureus. And what we're seeing is we're finding COVID in folks that are coming in for other things. That's one type of COVID-19 patient we're seeing. And we are seeing, as recently as this weekend, someone who came in with pneumonia. And after they were here for 2 days, we were able to document that the pneumonia was actually due to COVID-19 and not something else. So people don't think that it has truly gone away. It's not gone. And some people are needing hospital admission for it. It's just not nearly in the same numbers as we had been seeing previously in January.
Dr. Ruth Berggren, Long School of Medicine at UT Health San Antonio. Always appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time, and we'll be right back. So far, so good for the 2022 jobs outlook in the U.S. The Labor Department reporting Thursday that continued claims for unemployment benefits, fell to under 1.5 million for the week that ended February 12th. When adjusted for seasonal swings, that's the lowest that level has been since March of 1970. Initial jobless claims for last week held steady at 232,000.
Citigroup getting rid of overdraft fees, making it the largest U.S. bank to eliminate the charges. The fees, including those charged for insufficient funds and overdraft protection, have been hammered by consumer advocates who say they unfairly punish those who can least afford it. Citi joins a growing list of lenders are changing or eliminating the charges amid pressure from Congress and increased competition from online banks. Citi says the fees will be dropped by this summer.
Let's take a look outside this evening. 38 degrees. Nice to have that wind gone today, but we had some little drizzle. Didn't amount to much, Adam.
No, it didn't. And, some of us woke up to a little bit of ice on our cars outside, some of those elevated exposed surfaces from overnight, but no issues on the roadways. That was good. And temperatures right now are a little above freezing. We're at a whopping 38 degrees after a high temperature of only 41 today. North wind at 10. Luckily, that's not too strong. As we go through the rest of the night, not a big temperature change. It'll be about 35 at 11 p.m. And then first thing tomorrow morning, briefly right at freezing. We'll talk about how long this cold air sticks around and when the sunshine returns in just a bit.
All right, grab some guacamole, maybe some salsa, because today is National Tortilla Chip Day. Millions of people across the country love tortilla chips, so it's a great excuse to open up a bag. Those chips usually made from corn tortillas cut into wedges and then fried.
Now, they were originally known in Mexico as tostados, but were first mass-produced in Los Angeles in the 1940s. Of course, you can also use tortilla chips to make nachos and a whole long list of other things, usually served, of course, with melted cheese and toppings. National Tortilla Chip Day. It's a Thursday in San Antonio.
Tortilla soup.
Oh, man. So
it's a good night for that, maybe. I don't know. Just throwing some stuff out there.
Tortilla chip, the spoon of chili for me.
There you go.
Chili's a dip, in my opinion. You don't need a spoon for it.
Okay.
I'm
with you there. Like beans or no beans. We're going to go down a whole.
Oh, we're not going there.
So let's,
Because we all know beans and a lot of meat. So, all right. We'll keep moving along here. Let's talk about what's happening in the days ahead. Gray and cold still through Saturday. It's hard for us to shake this cloud cover and get us some good sunshine to warm us up. Back into the 50s. Woohoo, right? By Sunday, but that's a big improvement from the 30s to near 40 we've been having. And then sunny and much warmer by Monday as we get into next week. Take a look at the temperatures, even across the nation. We're all feeling a bit of a chill out there. Of course, the Biggest chill is up north. International Falls at 0 degrees, even Caribou, Maine at 8. But you see how that cold air is really pushed far south, all the way down into Texas, and we're feeling that cold around here. Now, Del Rio, 57 degrees. That's where we had sunshine today. Uvalde, 46, Carrizo Springs, 48, Cotulla, 47. Clearly, those locations had a little bit of sun, cleared out, but those clouds will be filling back in pretty quickly first thing tomorrow morning. Right now, Fredericksburg at 32 degrees, right at the freezing point. Kerrville not far behind at 34. Here in San Antonio, 38, Gonzales, 36. Tomorrow morning, we're expecting a brief light freeze for most of us, especially along and north of Highway 90. So Hondo, 31, Canyon Lake, about 29, 26 in Kerrville. And then tomorrow afternoon, we just do this all over again. This will be our third afternoon with the temperature right near 40 degrees. At the warmest point of the day, we're going to be right near 40 degrees, about 41 Gonzales, 43 in Hondo. 40 Stone Oak, New Braunfels 38, Elmendorf up to 43. More of the same on Saturday. High temperature, about 42 degrees, a little bit of dampness as well. By Sunday, we'll squeeze in some late day sunshine, 57, and then Monday of next week, back near average for this time of year with sunshine at 68 degrees for the high temperature. Quiet across the state today. Satellite and radar not showing much. Our activity has really moved on out. We just will have more sprinkles developing here and there and a little bit of drizzle, but that's about it. Any shower activity is going to stay out of our area for now. Here's our futurecast, and I mentioned that clearing. I do think we'll actually see some stars west of I-35 and even in parts of San Antonio overnight tonight. But early tomorrow morning at sunrise, the clouds fill back in. We'll have some drizzle along the coastal plain. We're talking Hallettsville, even DeWitt County, Cuero, Falls City. You'll have some drizzle to start the day tomorrow. But another gray, cloudy day with sprinkles developing here and there. They'll be coming and going late in the day tomorrow night, and throughout Saturday. Actually, Saturday, we anticipate a little more coverage, so becoming a little more widespread. But even then, not a lot in terms of accumulation. We need the rain. We're in drought. About a third of Bexar County is considered in drought, the rest of it abnormally dry. South of San Antonio, Dimmitt, LaSalle, McMullen counties, that's where we have the deepest drought. And across the state, yeah, we could all use the moisture. Nearly 80% of Texas considered in drought. Tomorrow, 32 in the morning, gray and cool, near 40 for the high temperature, just sprinkles. We're talking maybe 1/10 of an inch. That's about it when you add it all up tomorrow all the way through Saturday. So Saturday, some dampness, but not much to show for it, unfortunately, and it's going to be cold. So cold and damp Saturday. And we got to watch Saturday morning because up in the hill country, we could have some light freezing drizzle on some of the elevated surfaces early on Saturday morning. Then by Sunday, some improvements. We'll actually get well into the 50s, late day sun. And then next week, the sunshine really returns by Monday, full sunshine and back to 68 degrees. Of course, right when we have to go back to work and school next week, it's not going to be happening over the weekend. All right, I'm about to start the new project I touched on and talked about a while back. Ken swung by with this older and what I would even consider an antique thermometer, barometer, hygrometer combination here. And if you take a look at this isn't the first time I've done it. The top thermometer part actually broke. This came from England, and often in shipping or when moving with these ornate thermometers and instrument combinations, I should say, the thermometers tend to break, and you see what happened right here. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glass and my skills, try to fit one right on here, make one exactly to size to totally reincarnate and make this one complete thermometer, barometer, hygrometer combination. So we're going to go from a piece of glass just like this to a beautiful, beautiful new thermometer to salvage that wonderful ornate instrument combination. So you can join me over the coming weeks. I'll be documenting it and we'll be going over it, and I'll keep you updated on how it goes. But I've got high confidence in this. It ain't my first rodeo, and I love doing this kind of a job. Just takes a bit of time. Takes some time. All right, we do have a winner today. Homemade thermometer winner, Tim Haney of San Antonio. Congratulations. Just sent you the email.
That vintage thermometer almost looks like a guitar.
Yeah.
Actually, you do need to tap aneroid barometers to get the needle to move because of friction built up in the system. So it's good to kind of play it like a guitar sometimes and tap it.
Little did you know.
I had no idea. In case you missed it, coming up next.
Always learning here.
Good morning. It is Thursday, February 24th. Very busy news, weather, and traffic morning.
Good morning, Stephen. Things are not quite as intense as they were before, but we still have a lot of activity going on, including the jackhammer that you hear in the background. That appears to be a crew with CPS Energy. Behind them, you can see flames still burning. This fire has been going on since about 11 o'clock last night. Still refused.
Police say it was all over drugs. That's what investigators say led to a shooting that killed 2 people earlier this week. It happened Monday afternoon on West Mariposa Drive outside a gas station near busy Blanco Road. According to an arrest affidavit, the suspects were planning to rob narcotics from another person. That's when the shots started. A stray bullet hit a man in his 60s as he was inside his house watching television. He was killed. Police arrested 5 people in the case, all 5 charged with capital murder.
Or about a shooting that sent 4 people to the hospital yesterday. San Antonio police responding to the shooting on Lanark Drive, that's near Austin Highway. And they say that she was caught in the crossfire of someone shooting at a car with 2 men and a woman inside. All 3 were hit. Only 1 man was critically injured. The woman found at the scene was taken by EMS. At last check, the suspect on the run, and a motive is still unknown.
The Russian military launched more than 100 ballistic and cruise missiles into Ukraine last night. President Biden says with that, President Putin declared his war.
Putin's aggression against Ukraine will end up costing Russia dearly, economically and strategically.